Quality, accountability, community, and knowledge. These are 4 values held tightly during the day-to-day operations of Equus, Canada's largest member-owned utility. For the past 25 years, nothing has been more synonymous with Equus than the values and commitment of their CEO and leader since inception, Patricia Bourne. My name is Marilyn Backman, and for more than a decade, I had the opportunity to work with Patricia Bourne, or as we all know her, Pat, in different capacities and on a number of diverse projects. I am both pleased and honored to take you on this journey, acknowledging Pat's contributions to Equus and to Alberta REAs. As Pat shifts into retirement, she will leave an indelible legacy. However, we recognize that she has more than earned this opportunity to spend more time with her family, because we all know family is most important to Pat.
She's always been very committed to her job, but she never made her family feel like we weren't still number one while doing a great job, and I'll always appreciate that.
Oddly enough, it was family that first introduced Pat to the world of rural electrification associations, or REAs. When Pat married her husband Tom Bourne, as most young couples, they planned to have a family. What they did not anticipate, however, was a family that burgeoned into an extended family of REAs and their respective members.
Wow, what an amazing lady and an amazing journey with Equus or Central Alberta REA or whatever over the years, all the different iterations, I suppose, that you went through. I remember you starting this as kind of like the only employee like a long time ago and kind of working with Edna, and then it grew, and then all of a sudden it was amalgamating with different companies.
Hi Pat, it's Edna here. I feel very honored that I've been asked to say a few words to you on your retirement. It was a real honor and a pleasure to have worked with you at the REA. You taught me so many things.
Pat took on the role of Secretary of the Ridgewood REA, and along with various directors was an integral principle in ensuring the initial amalgamation was a success. In 1992, as a result of the first amalgamation of 5 smaller REAs, Central Alberta REA, or CARA, became official and boasted 1,800 members, with Pat as the first employee. As the first employee of CARA, Pat was responsible for building human resources and logistics to self-operate the CARA system.
From the very beginning, when we first contracted out pole changing and building new services to start with, I believe Pat always had in the back of her mind a vision to take on complete operations for the REA. Purchasing the necessary equipment and materials to provide the most reliable and cost-effective services for our members is very important to Pat. Taking over full operations helped make this a reality. We'll also remember, after assuming full responsibility for the system, that Mother Nature put our planning to a test with an electrical storm within days. But overall, Pat's organizational skills, her hours of commitment and drive to succeed, and most of all, her determination to learn, has been amazing to witness.
During this time, 9 more REAs amalgamated with CARA, bringing membership levels to over 8,000. Meanwhile, Pat was busy traversing Central and South Alberta, speaking to other REAs about the benefits of amalgamation, positively influencing some of them to join forces.
I worked with Pat a great deal on her extracurricular activities. For Pat, the REA was never an 8-to-5 job, just managing the REA's business, but for also the countless hours she spent developing preparations for arbitration rulings that she would act as our witness as the REA, and also for the presentations to other REAs that showed an interest in finding out the value of what it meant to operate your own system as we were pursuing. This in turn reminds me of all of the travels we made throughout the province, making these presentations to interested REAs and to members of REAs on this concept. And all of the travels that we made late at night, coming home in the early hours, reminds me of one of the trips we made when it was so foggy, visibility was virtually nil, and asking ourselves why. But the rewarding part of this all was that the next time there was an REA showed interest, Pat was more than willing to get up and go again to make another presentation. For this, I truly believe Alberta would not have REAs in this province if it wouldn't have been for her passion towards REAs and the time she devoted to such a cause.
In 2009, the Alberta Community and Cooperative Association and the Government of Alberta presented Cara with the Alberta Cooperative Innovations Award for leading edge practices during their shift to managing their own operations and as an outstanding exemplar of cooperative achievement, a testament to Pat's ability to build a great and effective team.
What I remember about Pat is she used to come sit down in the lunchrooms, sit with you and talk about your day or your family. Didn't really matter if you were at the top of the pole or the bottom. Everybody mattered to her. She was kind, caring, and she'd give you advice if you needed it from her past experiences. She was a genuine lady.
Pat's style of leadership always came from a moral compass. No stranger to post-secondary education, having graduated with distinction from the Royal Roads University Values-Based Leadership Program, she encouraged personal and professional growth for Equus employees. Staying true to her REA values, Pat demonstrated her perseverance at Cara's first arbitration in 1999, which was, in hindsight, the ground zero arbitration.
From the first arbitration in 1999 to the pivotal customer choice arbitration and to the most current new contract arbitration, Pat practiced value-based leadership even before we formally and named it as a management philosophy. For Pat, it wasn't about winning or losing. It was about applying the REA's core values to its relationships, be it the investor-owned utility, the provincial government, or the provincial energy regulator. Pat would on occasion, on our almost yearly arbitrations, refer to this situation as a David and Goliath one, with the REA being David, of course. But I think she got that wrong, which is rare. It wasn't Cara or Equus who was the inferior, weak opponent. Not by a long shot. The REA was Goliath in every sense of the word, and that was Pat.
Over the years, Cara would win some and lose some, but Pat, with the support and direction of the board, was relentless in identifying misleading claims from their investor-owned competitors. She knew that her work was not just for the betterment of Cara and its members, but impacted all REAs. Pat truly was a voice for all REAs and was consistently proactive in utilizing her resources to aid in the advocacy for fellow REAs, allocating countless hours and dollars towards informative efforts for REAs like Wildwood, Manning, Lakeland, Tomahawk, and the list goes on and on.
Pat has always been an advocate of helping other REAs. I remember this time with the Manning REA where Pat saw the need to help them with their records and billing so they could get organized and communicate with members and combat a sale vote. This commitment included a white-knuckle drive with her and I driving from Manning to Innisfail through a snowstorm, hauling a U-Haul trailer full of REA records. We were sort of like superheroes trying to fight off investors purchasing the Manning REA. She was Batman, and I was Robin.
Pat raised the bar for REAs, taking Cara into the digital age with its first website, and she never looked back. She embraced innovation, recognizing that would be the way forward to remain competitive. Cara, under her direction, was a leader with multi-platform communications and promotional campaigns that used radio, newspapers, and other profile events and sponsorships to generate awareness. She advocated for all REAs at all levels of government and industry, from the ministerial level to senior government and agency bureaucrats, to electrical industry peers, to journalists, and candidly, to any forum or audience where she could make a positive impact for REAs.
she took that into quite a large company today, which adds value-added competition to an industry that was just a monopoly and a duopoly. And today she is actually trying to add some competition there, which will benefit all Albertans. And she's still doing a fabulous job expanding on that and giving all Albertans, not just rural Alberta anymore, all Albertans the benefit of having some competition in the electrical industry.
One of Pat's ultimate achievements was working through the amalgamation of the largest and second largest REAs in Alberta, the Central Alberta REA and Southern Alberta REA, forming what is now Equus. Pat was the common conduit that the Amalgamation Committee relied on to get answers to questions and to develop plans to move forward successfully. Pat adopted and championed Operation Roundup, an acknowledged community help program developed by rural electric cooperatives in the United States. Equus, under Pat's guidance, received permission to bring the branding to Canada, the only Canadian REA to receive that. Since its inception, Operation Roundup has distributed over $200,000 in funds for initiatives in rural Alberta, like the Generations Project at the Onaway Golden Club. Local youth were paired with seniors, and the seniors would teach the youth cooking and baking skills, and the youth in turn would help seniors with learning how to use electronics. A win-win for all. Pat's influence on these amazing programs and initiatives did not go unnoticed. While she doesn't talk about them often, Pat has received many acknowledgements, including the 2013 Business and Professions Award from the Red Deer and District Community Foundation. In 2017, Pat was the recipient of the Global Woman of Vision Award, presented for outstanding professional accomplishments that inspire others. Pat is involved with Decentralized Energy Canada and chair of the board, National Technology Accelerator, and is an Energy Futures Lab Fellow. Closer to home, she's a director of the Innisfail and District Victim Services Society and a proud wife, mother, and grandmother. Personal achievements aside, the biggest hurdle for Pat and Equus came in 2016. Once again, Pat spearheaded yet another intensive arbitration preparation over several months, working closely with the legal team to compile a robust and irrefutable case. After several grueling days of testimony, the resulting judgment, a win, paved the way for Equus to cement its position in the competitive rural utility market and offer choice in rural distribution. One of her final projects is the construction of a new corporate office in a spectacular location along Highway 2. This facility of the future showcases Pat's commitment to sustainability, using the electricity grid for only 2% of its annual consumption. Pat has worked tirelessly over the past 28 years to push innovation with Equus, and this is truly a result of her vision. For those of us who know and have worked with Pat, we know the most important thing to her is family. While she has inherited a rather extensive REA family, there would be no better way to cap off this tribute to Pat than with some words from her family.
I'm thankful for the years that you have ahead, because I think they're going to be bright and I think they're going to be great. You've been such a shining example of somebody who always bettered themselves.
So one of my favorite memories growing up is my mom taking us on the weekends into Equus with her, at the time Central Alberta REA, because she was always really committed to her work and her family. My dad worked away, so she didn't really have any other choice. When she had work to get done, we had to be toted along with her. So she would take us to Blockbuster and to DNR and get us all set up in the boardroom for the day, usually with blankets and pillows and anything to make us comfortable while she worked. And it will always be one of my favorite childhood memories.
As she grew with the REA, her passion for it got even... I get all choked up. I'm not very good at this. Her passion grew with the REA, and I think as she took on more with the board and worked to become the leader of the REA.
Congratulations, and we're so happy to get more time with you.
And I wish her the best in her new chapter in life.
Pat's been with Equus, or its original REAs from the very start. It's hard to believe that she's been in service of the members of the REAs for almost 3 decades. For the longest while, I didn't know that Pat had a last name because anywhere I went, she was affectionately referred to as Pat. And for quite a while, when someone mentioned the name Pat Bourne, I thought they were talking about somebody from the Bourne experience or something like that. That is just to say how well the members have appreciated Pat's service over the years. Having been well acquainted with Pat over the years, this is not goodbye, but a continuum of a relationship that started those many years ago. So Pat, on behalf of myself and the board, I want to thank you very much for the service that you've given to us, and we look forward to our new relationship into the future. All the best to you and your new adventures.